Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today's video is all about vintage fluff salads. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 3 of my favorite fluff salads that I have lightened up to make more Weight Watcher friendly. If you're not familiar with what a fluff salad is, it's basically a side or a dessert. They were popular in the 60s and 70s, and they usually included one or more of the following ingredients: canned fruit, whipped topping, marshmallows, jello, or pudding. They don't usually have a whole lot of ingredients. They're pretty easy to make and they're very tasty, so I really like them. Plus, I'm a 70s baby and I grew up eating these, so they kind of have a soft spot for me, and I like how easy and tasty they are. So let's get started with the first one. First up is Ambrosia Salad, at least that's what I'm going to be calling it. I've seen it with a whole lot of different names, but I call it Ambrosia Salad. So what you're gonna need for this are 6 ingredients. Here I've got a fresh pineapple that I've chopped up. Now traditionally these fluffs use canned everything fruit-wise, or not everything, but when it comes to pineapple, definitely canned. And you can definitely do that, and if you did, you would want to be using a 20-ounce can drained. I'm not doing that because canned pineapple, even when you drain it, still has points. So I'm using fresh, and what I've got here is 2 cups chopped up. Speaking of canned, I am using canned mandarin oranges, and these were canned in juice, so they're a little lower points than the ones in like light syrup. So that's a 15-ounce can drained. Here I've got a cup of fat-free Greek yogurt, and this is a cup of green grapes that I've just cut in half, a half cup of sweetened coconuts, and finally a cup of mini marshmallows. That's all that's in this. You could add other things. A lot of times people will add maraschino cherries. I'm not adding them because they are high in points. You could use different fruits. I've seen fruit cocktail used in this. You can do a lot of different things with it. This is just how I'm doing this today. So here in a medium-sized bowl, I'm using my Pyrex to keep with the time here. I'm just gonna dump in all my fruit, my marshmallows, coconut. I'm gonna give that a quick stir. And then I'm gonna add in my Greek yogurt and stir that in real well. Once you've got this all stirred up, you're gonna wanna refrigerate it for several hours. I usually just refrigerate mine overnight. So I'm gonna cover this with some plastic wrap, put it in the fridge, and then I'll be back tomorrow to show you it. Okay, this one is ready to be garnished. And because these are salads from the 60s and 70s, I want to garnish them kind of in that way. So I reserved just a couple of my mandarin oranges. So I'm going to put those on there, along with kind of the classic garnish of these salads, which is a maraschino cherry. This one makes just about 12 half-cup servings. And the points on that for me are 3 points per serving. But yeah, this one is very, very good. This is perfect for a spring or summer dessert or side, and comes together really quick and easy, but very, very good. This next one I call Pistachio Fluff or Watergate Salad. Again, this one has a lot of different names for it, and there are a lot of different ways that you can do it. This is just the way that I do this one, and I could say that for all of these actually. They all have multiple ways that you could do them and different names, but this is just how I'm doing all of mine. So this one just has 5 ingredients in it, and again, it starts with some pineapple. I'm using fresh again instead of canned. The original recipe would call for a 20-ounce can of crushed that you don't drain. Here I've got 20 ounces just weighed out. because again, I don't want the points from the canned, so I'm using fresh. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just essentially crush my own. So 20 ounces of fresh pineapple there. Here I've got 8 ounces of fat-free whipped topping. I've got a cup of marshmallows, a 1 ounce package of sugar-free, fat-free pistachio jello, and then finally, in my little antique nut chopper here, I've got a 1/3 cup pecans that I've chopped up. So that was a 1/3 cup pre-chop. And that's everything that's in this one. Let me get started with it. So like I said, I am gonna be crushing my own pineapple to get that crushed pineapple texture, or as close to it as I can get. And I'm gonna be using my NutriBullet for that. You could use a regular blender, food processor, whatever you have. You could also just chop this into really small pieces if you wanted to, but I want that crushed pineapple texture. So I'm gonna take mine and I am going to put it in my NutriBullet here. I love this thing, by the way. I use it for a lot of different things and it just works really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lightly blend this until I get it to where I want it. And that just took about 2 seconds. And it's actually probably a little more pureed than I want, but that's okay. So now I'm gonna take this and in a medium-sized bowl, I'm gonna go ahead and pour in my pineapple and my pistachio pudding. Then I'm gonna just mix the two of these together. And as you can probably see, I've got kind of a mixture of really crushed and then some chunks of pineapple in there too. I'm gonna add in my marshmallows and most of my nuts. I'm gonna save just a little bit to garnish with. And I'm gonna stir those in. And finally, I'm going to fold in my whipped topping. Okay, now it is all mixed together. So now again, with this one, I'm gonna cover it with some plastic wrap. And then I'm gonna put it in the fridge overnight as well. I pretty much put all my fluffs in the fridge overnight. And then I will show you it again tomorrow. Okay, and here is my pistachio fluff or Watergate after it is set. And now all I have to do is just add my garnish, which was my remaining pecans. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and then also add a maraschino cherry. So this one makes 12 half-cup servings. For me, the points on that is gonna be 3 points a serving. This is probably the one that I've been making the longest out of all 3 of them. I'm a big fan of pistachio, and I think I forgot to say, but you do not have to use walnuts in this. You could definitely use pistachios instead. I didn't have any on hand. I've done it both ways, and both ways are good, but adding pistachios to it gives it a little extra pistachio flavor, which is really good too. But yeah, I love this one. And it is, like I said, 3 points a serving. This last one is a pineapple pretzel fluff, and it's a little different because where a lot of fluffs will use nuts, this one is gonna be using pretzels. And the pretzels combined with the sweetness of the pineapple and everything else in it is a nice little salty sweet combo, so this one's really good. And again, it starts with pineapple. I've got 20 ounces of pineapple that I've just chopped up into smaller pieces. If you were using a can, you would be using a 20-ounce can of tidbits that you would drain. But again, I'm using fresh to cut down on the points a little bit. You're also gonna need 8 ounces of fat-free whipped topping, 8 ounces of a 1/3 less fat cream cheese. Here I've got a 1/2 cup stevia or no calorie sweetener. And this is all for the fluff part of it. Over here is the pretzel topping, or you can stir it in, you can do either or. So I've got 2 ounces of pretzels here and I just weighed those out. And then here is a 1/4 cup of the stevia brown sugar, or 0-calorie brown sugar. And then there I've got a 1/4 cup light margarine, light butter spread. I'm using Brummel and Brown. That's kind of my favorite one to use. So that is everything that's in this. And this one starts with the pretzel topping. So I'm gonna get that going. I've got my oven preheating to 400. And what I'm gonna do is take my pretzels, I'm gonna pour them in this Ziploc bag here. And I'm gonna take a rolling pin and just kind of break these up roughly. It's kind of a coarse break on them, because you want some decent sized pieces. Then in a bowl here, I'm gonna add my brown sugar and my butter spread and stir the two of those together real well. Then I'm gonna pour in my pretzels and stir those in. And then here on a cookie sheet that I've lined with parchment paper, I'm gonna just pour my pretzel mixture. Spread that out a little bit. My husband's gonna steal one apparently. So then I'm gonna bake this at 400 for about 5 to 7 minutes. And over here in a mixer, I'm gonna take my cream cheese that is softened. You definitely want it softened. And then I'm gonna add my Trevia in there. And I'm gonna mix the two together real well. I've got that all mixed together, so now I'm gonna transfer this to a medium-sized bowl. And now to that cream cheese mixture, I'm gonna add in my pineapple and my 8 ounces of whipped topping. And I'm gonna stir all this together, or kind of fold all this together. I've got that all mixed together well, so now, like with the other ones, I'm gonna go ahead and cover it with plastic wrap and let it refrigerate for at least a good 2 or 3 hours. I have let this sit for a couple hours, so now I'm gonna take my pretzels here and I'm gonna just break them up just like that. Now you can either add all of these in at one time and just reserve a little bit for the top, or you can add them in as you eat it. That's entirely up to you. But for this video, I'm gonna go ahead and just pour all these in, minus a little bit for the top. And then just stir them in real well. And then that is all there is to this. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my bowl and add my garnish to it. All right, here I've got that garnished and it is ready to eat. So this one, like the other one, makes about 12½ cup servings. It is a little higher in points though than the other two. It is 5 points a serving for me. While that is a little higher, I do think it's worth it. This one is definitely my favorite out of the 3. It is just so good with that salty sweet combo. Those pretzels really do add a whole lot to this one. So definitely my favorite, and I think it's worth the points. But that is gonna wrap up my vintage fluff salad video. Be sure to check out the description box below where you can find all the information on all 3 of these fluffs. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you on the next one.